people not only have to be re-educated to the importance of supporting black business, but the black man himself has to be made aware of the importance of going into business. And once you and I go into business, we own and operate at least the businesses in our community. What we will be doing is developing a situation wherein we will actually be able to create employment for the people in the community. And once you can create some employment in the community where you live, it will eliminate the necessity of you and me having to act ignorantly and disgracefully, boycotting and picketing someplace else, trying to beg him for a job.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Federation of African Canadian Economics. FACE is an historical movement co-founded by Black Canadian visionaries empowering generational wealth creation while fostering Black change makers. If you are Black entrepreneurs or know one that could use an affordable loan of up to $250,000, this is the movement for you. I would like to welcome all our listeners to TOC Podcast. TOC stands for the Other Canada Podcast, the show that is anchored in the undeniable fact that Canada's historical and current lens is homogenous at best and filled with gaps that we aim to bridge. The space where we courageously explore BIPOC voices like you've never heard them before. At TOC Podcast, we pride ourselves in presenting to you Black, Brown, Indigenous, and non-BIPOC individuals that have decided to move from allies to accomplices. Yes, white allies exist and accomplices as well. Today's episode is all about Vancouver. We just flew out of Toronto. This is our second season. We are discovering the beautiful entrepreneurial scene in BC, and we are happily surprised to see that it's thriving, not just surviving. I'm your host, Thierry Lindor. I'm with my co-host, Tiffany Callender. Some of you might know us as entrepreneurs, social innovators, active citizens, but this pales in comparisons to our guests today. Today, we are excited to have
Nerissa and Clavia.
That's exactly it. They are not just entrepreneurs, but active citizens as well. We're gonna learn all about them in a couple of seconds. Beautiful people, if you are driving, pull up. If you are at work, fake working. If you're working out at the gym, drop those big dumbbells, because we're dropping some gems on you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey-o!
Africa wasn't afforded some of the same services.
Rosie, a Sir George graduate on a master's in McGill, helps organize a computer-centered city.
That's why the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund launches today. This $291 million fund will allow Black entrepreneurs and business owners to access loans from $25,000 to $250,000.
How's everybody doing?
Fantastic.
Awesome.
We
Thanks
are
for
so
having
happy
us.
to be here. This is our first time in BC.
First time ever.
First time. And of course, meeting you guys is exciting. Nerissa, we had the chance to meet months ago Zoom.
We
So we made it out here.
But live in person.
Awesome.
This is how it should be.
Yeah.
So,
on a beautiful sunny Vancouver day.
right? Like, I don't know. Y'all might get me kidnapped out here because
Seriously.
it's too nice. I can't do it. But husband and wife duo.
Yes.
This is the perfect blend of business, community activism,
Everything. Yeah.
Everything. I want to know about your story, just a touch. And the reason why Terry and I really believe that entrepreneurs, it can't just be about your business. There's a full story behind why you decide to make this leap.
Yeah.
She's hilarious. She already got a taste of the
she's
story.
hilarious.
So give us the drop on Nerissa and Clavia.
Before we do that,
Okay.
all our guests, this is,
Oh, we're doing our 60? Yes.
Exactly.
This is fun.
So we run a segment called 6 Questions in 60 Seconds.
Okay.
All right? So
We're on the hot seat.
Yeah, hot seat.
Hot seat.
That's right.
Tiff will ask King, I will ask Queen.
That's
all
right.
right?
Okay.
So I will start with you, Queen. 6 questions, 60 seconds. Keep your answers 1 to 2 words maximum. And if you hear me say, or Tiffany, rewind, that's the part where our editors are going to put some music, and you have to say the last things you just said.
Because it was a gem.
Because it was a gem.
Repeat it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right?
Okay.
You just need to just repeat what you just said.
Got it.
All right?
All right.
All right. So, first question, Queen. What has this pandemic taught you?
It taught me resilience.
Like that. Malcolm X or MLK?
Malcolm X.
Hey. Angela Davis or Maya Angelou?
Angela Davis.
Hey, salty or sweet?
Salty.
Rap or hip hop?
Ooh, hip hop.
What is your cultural background?
I'm born in Canada, but I have Caribbean heritage, Barbados and Jamaica.
Yes. Kids or no kids?
Kids.
How many?
3.
Hey, winning. Yeah. And last, those are bonus questions because we were way beyond 6 on this one.
That's right, exactly.
This is going to be a very interesting conversation. In 2021, what is the most challenging part of being a black woman? You could expand. It doesn't have to be like one.
Being heard. So I feel like you have to work extra hard to come to the table. You have to come prepared because you have to, in the back of your mind, you're coming thinking, I have to get over the preconceptions before I can even get to the conversation.
Facts. Something that Jack, who's a Caucasian white privileged male skating through life, doesn't have to worry about. All right? So now, what is the best part about being a black woman in 2021?
Strength and resilience.
Okay.
And culture.
That's fast.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, your turn.
Yes, ma'am.
Hot seat. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, good. So tell me what the pandemic has taught you.
I think I'd have to agree with my wife. Resilience.
Resilience?
Yes, because it's been a very difficult time.
All right. Malcolm X or MLK?
Malcolm X.
Okay. Soca or reggae?
Ooh.
She always puts it
I keep stopping people with that one.
I would have to say reggae.
Reggae.
I was gonna say, if you said soca, you'd be lying.
Oh, wow.
I'm nationally obligated to soca.
Nationally obligated, right. But to tell the truth.
But I like reggae.
There you go. Okay. Here you go. 9 to 5 or entrepreneurship?
Entrepreneurship.
Okay, that was easy.
Not even a question.
Not even a question. What is the most challenging part of being a black man in 2021?
The most challenging is waiting for us to get the message. Waiting for us to take a look at all of these pieces that we have, seeing and put them together.
That's a pull-up. That's a
Waiting for us to get the message. We see what's going on in the world. We can see what's going on with each other. But when are we going to actually put the pieces together and make those connections?
Yeah.
We can all see it. It's all here.
Right.
So we just need to connect and become stronger.
So then I have to ask you then, what is the best part of being a black man in 2021?
Seeing the changes.
There you go.
Seeing it actually happen. From before George Floyd, there was the movement. We could see it happening.
Right.
We could see the momentum building.
Right.
But now, that was in America, that was in a different part of the world, but still as black people worldwide in diaspora, we could see the strands coming together. We see us moving back to Africa. We got Stevie Wonder, we got Dave Chappelle. We can see that the movement is happening, it's real, it's tangible.
Right.
Yes, it's actually happening, and that's one of the proudest moments to be in 2021.
Okay. Last one. If you were a car, what kind of car would you be?
Hey.
I wouldn't be a car, I'd be a truck.
Jeez.
Rewind!
I wouldn't be a car, I'd be a truck.
Why would you be a truck?
I could go anywhere and do anything, all terrain.
All terrain.
Nobody. Hey, listen. This is our second season. We're
Nobody said that.
Never. I've heard electrical car.
Yeah.
I've heard nobody.
I wouldn't
has
pick
said
a car. She
I
could
would
tell you.
not be a car. I'd be a truck.
I would be a truck.
That's
100%.
100%.
100%.
I would be a truck. That's
Okay,
a shirt.
you gotta coin that slogan now.
Yeah, that's it. Now, we'll buy the shirts from you.
Sure. Let's do
Trademark
it.
it. Trademark it. Let's go right into our first segment before we get to hear your story, because Tiffany's right. We don't believe at Face that people just buy products or services.
Yeah.
We believe
Right.
people buy stories.
Correct.
And they consume stories. And when they identify with this story, then that's when you create communities behind brands, right? So, but before we get into this, into the genesis of how you guys got started as a power couple trying to build generational wealth, I want to bring up a study that the African Canadian Senate group, as well as Senator Collard Deacon's office and Tiffany Callender and the Face Coalition pushed for a survey that was done. And the survey came out with pretty appalling statistics, and one of which was that close to over 50% of black people self-finance their businesses when they start by leveraging their credit card, right?
Lines of credit on the
And
mortgage.
by cannibalizing on their savings as well, right? What would you think is the reason why you touched on resilience. Why, regardless of if we're given money by the system or not, we feel that we have to get it by any means necessary. Which, even if it means going into our family savings and into credit debt, what do you think it is about us that makes it that we don't give up and we just self-finance if we have to?
I think we're always looking for that freedom. We see that systemic racism, we feel it, it's in our day-to-day lives, and we kind of just brush it off our shoulders. But I feel like because we are looking for that freedom in being able to do what you want, to finance your family, to support your family, to have that freedom in your life, that's going to push any Black entrepreneur to push harder. We know that being able to have that business to support yourself is going to bring that financial freedom. It's going to teach your kids how to be that business person. It's going to teach the community how to be that business, how to create that wealth. It is the solution. And if we do it, we're teaching our kids. The community gets bounds together, and we're all growing to create that economic harmony that we need as a society on a whole as Black people. We have to have it. It's the air and breathe. It's the air that we breathe. We have to, if we don't have that economic stability through business and ownership, we are not going to be strong. We're not going to go anywhere.
For us. What about you, King? Do you want to expand on that?
I think she pretty much nailed it on the head. I think we're trying to get the freedom because if you think about it, we know the history. So what's the one thing we've wanted as a people for the longest time?
I agree.
Freedom.
I always say that too.
In a 2021 context, freedom means economics.
Always.
And so to bring the two of them together, we build a strong Black business community that creates the economics, which then gives us the freedom in our lives that we want.
I always say Black people are addicted to freedom because we've been our sovereignty. Exactly. It's in our DNA. We've for the past 400 years. Everything
that's the only thing we think about.
We want to be free. The road to our self-emancipation is through economics.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's I think it's at the foundation of what we know, what we've always strived for, and what's clearly been denied to us. If you look at the system, it's anything related to us having independence in terms
economics?
of managing money.
It's stifled.
And it's oppression. Always that. The closer you get to that, the harder the actual resistance is. So that tells you what's the thing to keep away. If you solve for X, that's what they need to keep away from us. So that's why we push harder. I agree with you 100%.
And now we want to hear the
genesis.
Story.
Now I hear the story.
The genesis of this.
Yes.
You know what? We were both working 9 to 5.
Yes.
But I think.
Where? I want the whole team.
Well,
no.
Okay, let me just see.
If you feel comfortable. Naming the company.
But the reason why is because Nerissa has a beautiful story. She mentioned she was born here, but then she also went back. She got to live in her home country. She got to go to Barbados and live there for a little while. See, I knew a little bit. So that's why I'm saying it's, again, a part of that Canadian experience that we always say is not unique. Everybody's Canadian story.
What's the equivalency of Bay Street here? Like meaning like Wall Street. What's the big business street here?
What's the big street here?
The business street.
Where are the banks and all the money at?
Robson or Georgia Street, maybe?
Yeah, I guess.
So like if you're not comfortable saying the business, just say, Bay Street or Wall Street, like I would the system or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'd like to hear it too.
The story, I only have the story.
I think my entrepreneurial journey started when I was in Barbados, actually, because I was born here. My parents are Caribbean.
Yeah.
They moved us to Barbados when I was 10. And when I was about 15 or so, I was in a program called Junior Achievement. And that program requires you to build a product and sell it. And basically they're teaching that entrepreneurial spirit. And I feel like that is where I started. And moving back to Canada, I started working for the government. And I started feeling that itch around age 30, and I felt like this is okay. It's paying your bills, but I need to express my creativity, and I need that freedom to be able to do that. So I started to I wanted to have a skincare business, and that didn't actually come to fruition. What did come to fruition was a hair business, and it's because I was passionate about both things, but people would see me changing my hairstyle all the time, and they'd be like, how do you do it? I love it. Can you do it for me? And I'm like, oh, this might be a business, right? Exactly. And I turned it into a business. And I did it online for a couple of years, and it was doing well. And my husband at the time was a registered massage therapist. Yes. And he was working for a clinic. And I said, you know what? We should get a space. Let's expand. Let's take our 2 sole proprietorship, partner, and let's get a corporation. And we did that. And in 2018, we opened our doors. And it's all about finding your passion and finding a way to monetize it.
Yes.
And people will be drawn to it because they love authenticity and they want to see transparency. Yes. So I think that's really what what brought us to the point where we were able to open the doors on a physical space.
Gotcha.
And unfortunately, within a year and a half, COVID hits, and we're like,
and then
what
everything
we
were worried. We were genuinely concerned.
We were concerned.
We were closed for a while.
And I'm like, how do you pivot from that, right? Like you're closed for like 3-4 months, and you're like, what do you do? But I think what you do is, and what we did anyway, is, okay, you panic.
Yeah.
And then you sit back and you're like, how do we get out of this?
That's
because we're fighters. Because we want our freedom and we want to continue to have our freedom. How do we get out of it? Yeah. And we were like, we've got this extra room. I dusted off my business plan from what I wanted to do with skincare business.
Right, and we relaunched.
Relaunched that. And we relaunched the e-commerce part.
One of this story. That's it.
And the funny thing is, it kind of worked out perfectly because COVID taught us a couple things. One of the main things about your business economic streams is that you have to have one that's COVID proof. Clearly, because it's impacted every business in every sector you can imagine.
That's right.
But you need to have some kind of income stream that COVID can affect, and that's why we went back to the organic skincare.
We call it pandemic
agnostic. We can sell those products
and
not be affected by COVID. So we said, okay, this is a perfect avenue in a perfect time. So things fell into place, and we just went with that.
I like so much what you said. You guys panicked and I pivoted.
Freak
panic,
out,
pivot, right? Exactly.
And then you're like, okay, how do we help other people?
Yes.
And at the same time, George Floyd had just happened, and we have all this pent up energy, and we're like, okay, we don't want to be negative. How can we take this energy and direct it in a positive way?
And build.
Right. So we're like, okay, we've been doing in August of 2019, I started an Instagram page called Black Business Vancouver.
Black Business Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was to highlight, businesses here, products and services of Black owned businesses.
Right.
And in that period where we were like, after George Floyd, and we're like, okay, we've pivoted. How do we help other people pivot?
Right.
But how do we also expand this energy that's building up because of how we're feeling from this mental trauma?
Correct.
We're like, we're going to register this association, and we're going to create a platform to help our people out of this.
Amazing.
And that's what we did. That's how we started the Black Business Association of BC. We were like, we're going to help others, and we're going to do it strong. And we've created a platform that's very operational in nature. So everything we look at is how can someone come to an event or a workshop or whatever we do, and come up with something tangible that they can do right away, and
concrete information, actionable items.
How can we build? How can we start a business? How can we scale our business? How can we better ourselves as business people? You know what I mean?
Love this.
And that's where we are today.
Well, what we have in common is that Face evolved also during a pandemic. We were pre George Floyd, but again, it's that when preparation meets opportunity, and when you see the chance to serve and to say, well, we know what we've done and brought to the table. It's in a nonprofit setting, but nonetheless, now how do we ensure that we expand that? So I think all of us at some point, we're just feeling like something needs to be done.
We got to do something.
You got to do something. So you breach the line. Either you're going to sit in your house and panic, or you're going to say, is this the time to really press forward? And I think we're seeing the results of that across the country.
Absolutely. I want to go to the next segment, but before I do, for all the listeners, if you're Black entrepreneurs looking for fun, this episode is presented to you by FACE, the Federation of African Canadian Economics, where you can get a loan from $10,000 to $150,000. And even if you're a startup, you go from $10,000 to $50,000. By the time this episode rolls out, a couple of $millions might have rolled out. So you want to make sure you register your business, list it across the country, geo-position it, and more importantly, get yourself ready to apply for the loan. All right? Which brings me to my next questions. We talked about the study.
Yes.
The study that was made by the Federation as well as Senator Colin Deacon's office across Canada. 76% of Black entrepreneurs say that their race is a barrier actually to success in a country called Canada. Would you agree with that statement, yes or no, and why?
I'll let you answer, but I say yes.
Okay, so I think the answer to this question is primarily rooted in the mind of the individual answering the question. Because although there is a tangible reality which we can all point to as systemic racism,
100%,
right? There's no disputing that. As an individual and as a fighting mentality type individual, do I accept the fact that it's hindering me, or do I let it stop me?
Well said.
So for me, yes, there is. There is a certain barrier to my success being a person of color, Black man. But am I going to let it stop me? No. Because for me, a big part of this whole journey has been for me paying homage to my ancestors. Because I remember there was a time my grandmother back home, she worked on a plantation. She did in my lifetime.
Same here.
So I've seen that.
Same here.
So for me, there's a certain part of me that says, my grandmother went through these things so that I could have this life.
So you could thrive.
So I have to do something to push it forward for my children to have an even better life than I did and have even less struggles than I have.
Yeah.
So I can't just, you know, be successful, enjoy my little circle of success and forget about everybody else. That's not how I was brought up. Those are not the values I was taught. I was taught to spread it and carry it on. And so big part of it, yes, there's a problem, but will it stop me? Based on the history I've been through and the stuff I've endured, no, it can't.
Amazing. Let's segue into the next point. Remember, Tiffany, that statistic which said that close to, in terms of banks, how much the distrust was high.
Oh yeah, the question was asked is like, well, how do Black entrepreneurs experience banks and do they have trust? And 48% said that they do not trust financial institutions and banks.
Yeah.
What do you think the experience is? And I've also, you know, as I traveled across the country and learned the different experiences, the BC Black population is smaller than, let's say, the bigger city centers and all this. And I wonder how you guys experience relationships with institutions or even representatives. So what do you think the experience is of Black people in BC and going out and finding financing, support, anything to be able to grow their entrepreneurial dream?
So okay.
We'll break this one down.
It was a nudge. It was like, get it. Get that.
Break this down.
Great question, co-host.
I think growing up here, I saw my parents struggle, and even at tender age, you can see the hesitation when having to deal with certain institutions.
Yes. Right.
And I feel like that is ingrained in you as you grow up, so that you also, when you reach adulthood, you have those same hesitations because you feel like you're already going in. You're going in to hit a wall.
That's right.
So you either feel defeated before you enter, or you feel like, okay, how do I go in to present myself so that I would have a better outcome?
Correct.
And then you find that we shift ourselves a little bit. You know, we might do our hair different, we might put on a different set of clothes. We want to present what we think they want to see.
Acceptable to them.
Exactly.
Yes, right. Yeah.
So I feel like that has been it's mentally stressing,
of course,
you know, on an entrepreneur who's having to deal with a financial institution. But then when you go in and you deal with them and you actually do get that reality, and you do feel that like you are being judged because of the color of your skin, and it concretes that. It's not that it's defeating, but it is.
It takes away the myth. Now it's real.
Yeah,
right?
It takes away the myth, and you feel like, okay, I knew this was going to happen.
Right.
It happened. Now where do I go from here?
Now what?
Now what?
Yes.
And you're like, but I think for most of us, like we keep going back to, we want our freedom and we are resilient people. So we're like, okay, you know what? We will fight through it. And whatever we need to do to make this happen, we are going to make it happen. And that's why you see so many businesses are bootstrapping.
Self-funded.
They're self-funded.
100%. So then what does the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund then mean to you? When you see that program, when you saw the announcement?
It means hope.
Yes.
It means that we finally feel like we have an opportunity, a real opportunity to get the capital and financing we need to start a business. Starting a business, if you don't have a home, and there's many systems out there where we don't have the finance to be able to get equity from a home to finance our business. So we bootstrap everything. We max out our credit cards, we do all kinds of stuff. So the loan phase, what we're providing from what FACE is giving to us is that opportunity now for us to walk into a situation where we only have to think about presenting our best selves as entrepreneurs. We don't have to think about barriers.
You don't have to code switch.
We don't have to code switch.
Because that's what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
About code switch. Code switching is it's heavy.
It's a survival mechanism.
Correct, it is. And we have to do it, and we know we have to do it. We don't want to have to think about it. We want to be able to have a fair and transparent and the same road that everyone else has to get to where we need to get to. So if we know that, okay, FACE has our interest at heart, they've removed the barriers of systemic racism, we are just going in now on the merit of ourselves and our business. That's it.
As the best version of ourselves.
Yeah, and that's it.
And to expand on this, because we have about 3-4 minutes before we wrap up, if I had to ask you this question, banks were not trusted by Black community. Only 19% trusted banks in Canada at the Black entrepreneurial level, right? This is an amazing study. 48% didn't. 34% were unsure. So that means that close to 84 to 85% are either unsure or don't trust the banks. If I had to tell you these other 4 levels, which one do you say they trust the most and which one you say you trust the least. Forget the bank side, right?
Okay.
If I say to you, the government of Canada, the provincial governments, the municipal governments, or Black-led organizations, which one did they trust the most, and which one did they trust the least?
Out of those four.
Those four.
Oh shoot, I'm gonna give that to you.
So municipal, provincial, federal, or Black-led organization. Which one did Black entrepreneurs trust the most to have their best interests?
It must be Black-led organizations.
You say Black-led?
I say the government.
Which government? Because I gave you.
Okay, so I would
municipal,
say
provincial, or federal?
maybe provincial.
Okay, so beautiful. Queen's right. Aren't they always? 53% of people that took the survey actually trust Black-led organizations to have their best interests at heart. And you said which government?
Municipal? Provincial.
He said provincial,
Provincial was only 24%.
Okay.
Municipal was 22%. Federal government was 39%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this, once again, is and the reason why I wanted to finalize on this is I think trust is at the core of everything we do.
Yeah.
Everything. Trust is the pillar, the foundation of relationship. And I like to say, we always say that at FACE, Black people, we are relational by nature, not transactional.
Exactly.
That's why we actually butt head with the system, because the system is designed to be transactional.
Correct.
We come from holistic places where a village teaches a kid.
Yes.
Where building a strong Black man builds a strong Black community, but building a strong Black woman builds a strong nation.
Correct.
Right? And the system doesn't like that either.
No.
Yeah.
System don't want to understand that. So in that sense, I want to both hear you on what does trust mean to you on a micro level for your entrepreneurship, your business, but what does it mean to you for Black Canada? How important is it? How do you nourish it? Touch on trust for us.
I think it's extremely important. So I feel like in the Black community, we have a problem trusting our own people. And you'll see it coming out. And I know I responded that we trust other Black-led organizations more out of the four, right?
Yeah.
That's why I put it after.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was more.
But the thing is, we also have an issue with trust within our own community. And I feel like it's very important for us to address that right now. So everything that we build right now, we have to be as transparent as we can be. Because because if there's even a hint of
shades.
Black people will revert back to you see what I mean?
I
So we have to combat that.
Yes.
And I think that's where FACE and organizations such as ours, regional organizations who are there to protect and serve and support the Black community, the Black business community, we have to work on trust. And even though we're providing all of these different operational support and services and whatever, at the core of it all, if we aren't trustworthy, if they don't look at us and see trust, it's all like yes.
And if we don't model it between organizations as well. I actually remember what I said this time. If we don't model this trust as organizations, then how can we ask our community to trust us?
Yes.
And I think that's the dynamic that we have to fight about and fight on, and to make sure that we are relentless in ensuring that you can't call yourself a leader if you can't emulate the actual characteristics of what winning. And when I say winning, it's not winning grants. And I mean, we fuss about the things that are so diametrically opposed to what we say our values are. And that's often the issue. So I agree with you 100%. And when you say we don't have the luxury as organizations to not model what we want and what we're hoping our community gives us, which is their trust.
And that's how you get buy-in.
And let's trust. That's it. And let's be real. Black people don't have the luxury or privilege of mediocrity.
We don't.
No.
There's nothing mediocre
It has to be
about
excellent.
Black success.
Yes.
It has to be
Nothing. I know a lot of people that are non-BIPOC that are very mediocre that have achieved massive success.
Yeah,
that's right.
And that's also why, why would they open the gates and for opportunities if there hasn't been for 400 years? Why would they want to compete with us?
Yeah.
Why would
Because
us?
we bring excellence to the table.
With that hunger, with that fighting nature, they're like, nah, we with that.
It's probably not a good one.
Right now it's quite smooth. It's quite smooth, and we are dominating here. So it is by design, absolutely.
And I do sports analogies all the time, and just stop with your sports analogy. To me, it's like people. I played basketball growing up. It's like guys doing 2 lines of layup during warm up, and then you come in. All right, let's play. And we don't want to play. We just want to do 2 layups by ourselves.
Y'all dunking and things.
Why would we want this, right?
I do have to ask one question.
Yeah.
And it's important to me because, again, FACE has a national mandate, a national scope, and our Black Canadian experiences are not monolithic. We keep saying that.
Why?
Often the West feels alienated. This is the sense that I get, and
that's a great
and I'm
way to
listening
finish.
to it, right? How do we ensure that we think
Such an
about,
important question.
include, and understand the reality of being a Black business owner in Western Canada? You articulated this in our first conversation so well. It was so meticulous in the way that you said, look, it's different out here.
She had a plan.
And she had a plan.
Yep.
That's why we started.
Nobody else had.
How can we at FACE and the rest of Black Canada, it's not just up to us, please.
Right.
How can we ensure to include the West and its reality to make sure that you guys are included in this national strategy? Listen to
and fund our association.
Rewind. And look in the camera when you say it. You know what I'm saying?
Just listen to us.
Okay, thank you.
No, but really, I think situations like this where you're touring and you're coming out to hear the realities of what we're facing, that's how you do it. You show that you are invested in our actual reality. If you don't do that, the trust is gone, and we're just like, they're not interested
They're on
in
a
hearing.
Zoom conference.
Yeah.
They don't
That's it.
care.
You know what I mean?
care.
So it's just simple things. You have a conference call, and you set the conference
Be
call.
mindful of the time.
You set the conference call at 8 a.m. Eastern time. We're like,
But
really?
how are we supposed
really,
to get
guys?
on? And it's those things.
It's those little
It's true.
things.
It's true. Absolutely.
The logistics of the West, it's so vast.
So true.
Yeah.
It's so vast.
Yeah.
And things like importing goods, the people the business that we have in the North right now.
Yes.
And being able to get product and sell product and show that to the world and being able to get market access is difficult.
That's right.
The prairies is a whole section on its own.
Facts.
BC is different.
Yeah.
You have to keep all of those things in consideration when you are building a plan to address the businesses in the West.
Love
And you
that.
can only do it if you talk to the businesces in
the West. Yeah.
Just talk to us.
Talk and listen.
Talk and listen.
Yeah.
I think we might have found our ally in the West.
You think?
I'm saying this on camera. So listen, this is all the time we have, but before we let you go, you're gonna ask King, I'm gonna ask Queen.
Okay.
We have a thing called the elevator pitch.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
So I want you to name, Queen, who would be your dream investor to partner up with you in your business, dead or alive? Like we've heard Cleopatra, we've heard everybody.
All kinds.
I've heard MLK. Like it don't matter. Who would you have as a dream investor / mentor into your business tomorrow?
Oh my goodness.
Dead or alive?
Dead or
Oprah,
alive.
Beyonce, whoever.
Whoever.
Diana Ross.
Diana Ross.
Diana
Hey,
Ross.
why? I'm curious.
Okay, so our business is beauty and relaxation and massage.
She represents
She
that.
represents that. She's
All
a
day.
queen,
Yeah.
All
and
day.
she has grace, and she has class. She's articulate. She's everything that I would want to model as a Black
Love
woman.
it.
Mahogany was
Love
the
it.
image of Black women beauty.
So King, who would it be for you?
Well, I mean, I love you, Queen.
That's how you set it when you disagree. You disagree. I love you, Black baby. Listen.
I was trying to be a little bit more recent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think a good investor for me, modern 2021, I was thinking Rihanna.
Rihanna.
You see? But look, but
And it's basically the same thing.
Expecting that.
It's basically the same thing.
But it is. But
Just a generation later, basically.
That's right. Exactly. And you could argue that Rihanna is our Diana Ross.
The new one, the new version. 2.0.
You didn't get you too fast.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't get you too
I was
fast.
thinking she was going to go militant. I was like, oh my God.
Well, I was thinking that, but I know she don't want me to say that on camera. So I was like,
This is what running a business in couplehood is like.
That's
A lot of
family-owned
compromise.
business,
That's
right?
it.
So,
That's great.
so let's get started. I want you to envision you're on Bay Street in Toronto.
Yeah.
You're walking into Ritz-Carlton. You're coming to the annual FACE conference. This is a 3-day event where you get to mingle, network.
Yeah.
You walk into your hotel room. In the lobby.
Yeah.
You go in the elevator. The door's open. And she just came from downstairs. Diana Ross is in the elevator. You got 30 seconds to make her a pitch because she's going up with you in the elevator for 30 seconds. I'm gonna actually start the clock, and I need you to pitch Diana Ross at FACE's 2022 Knowledge Conference, Business Knowledge Conference. Diana Ross in the elevator, Ritz-Carlton on Bay Street with you. You have, you're gonna look at Tiffany, because I'm way uglier than Tiffany.
Yes,
She's beautiful. You're gonna talk to her like she's that. So you're not saying, okay, what I would tell her. No, talk to her like she's Diana. All right?
I love my job.
All right? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're in the elevator now.
Miss Ross, it is a pleasure to meet you. I absolutely love you. I love your grace. I love your personality. I love your articulation. You are a smart, beautiful, strong queen, and we need you in our business to help us grow. We want to partner with you. We are a strong Black-owned business. We have beauty, we have grace, we have everything that you, as a businesswoman, as a Black beautiful queen, needs in order to represent our community. And I think that two of us together build a beautiful, strong Black nation. Let's go, Africa.
I'm about to get my spear. Let's go.
I'm trying to get my checkbook. That's it. Okay, well done.
Diana.
Wait, you get to do Riri.
So Diana, are you jumping into this?
Where's my checkbook?
Okay.
All the hair.
I want to hear the Rihanna pitch.
Why is she turning her whole body to the Rihanna pitch?
I want to hear the Rihanna pitch.
Be careful.
So King, same thing. You're walking into the hotel.
This feels like a setup.
You just came back from a beautiful panel. The panel was exciting. You're walking, you're pumped. You're going into the lobby, going in. She has her glasses on. You're like, is that Rihanna? It is. So talk to Rihanna in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God. Thank you. I'm so honored to meet you. Now, I know you haven't met me before. My name is Clavia. I'm representative of Charterhouse Spas. Now, Charterhouse is a Barbadian-owned company, and I know you'd be familiar and very appreciative of that. And as far as your cosmetic line and your businesses and stuff that you have, I think you'd be a valuable asset to what we're trying to do with our company. Now, I know that things are changing in 2021, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, but I'd love for you to become a part of our team, and with your help and your vision, we can grow this to exponentially.
Hey!
I suck at pitching.
No, I was a better person than I was. I didn't give any detail. I was just like, you're the best and we can get together.
But that's what they like to hear. They like to hear that. You stroke them. You stroke the ego, right?
Listening to the two of you, if the two of you are in an
Oh, it's over.
Anybody, it's over.
It's that. We can compliment. But if it's separate, I'm like, Lord.
Amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the episode today. Thank you so much for being with us. How do we find you? Tell the people listening to us before we close this off.
Your business and the nonprofit.
Okay, I'm going to cover the nonprofit, you cover the business.
Check.
Okay.
All right, so check us out at Black Business BC. Our website, www.blackbusinessbc.ca. I'm on Instagram at Black Business Vancouver and on Facebook at Black Business BC.
Yes.
And you can also check us out at Charterhouse Spas. Our website is www.charterhousespas.com. You can check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Charterhouse Spas. And we look forward to seeing any of you guys pretty soon. Come on down.
And thank you so much for having us today on this podcast.
Thank you very much.
I know
It was awesome.
Loud and real about,
We loved it. It was great. This is great. I think it was great. This is a good episode.
Tiff, the episode is going to be airing. It's part of our second season, as you know.
Yes.
It's probably going to be around September, end of the month, close to October. What do you anticipate? Where will we be with Face by then in terms of rolling out loans and stuff?
We'll be, like Terry said at the beginning, we will then be able very shortly to hear about the businesses that have begun to have the investment, the stories behind it. By the fall, I think what would be crucial for people to look out for is our mapping tool. So remember, the facecoalition.com website, the start of this is Bobby. Bobby is a Black-owned business interface, which is now doing all the intake for the loan applications, creating these user accounts for over 16,000 user accounts in 50 days.
16,000
user accounts.
Good.
So that is the beginning of us being able to map out Black Business Canada. So that these bridges that we need to build coast to coast to coast are happening. I want people to stand up and be counted. We need to know our business start so we can start that relationship, business to business, business to customer. We need to do everything we can do, all hands on deck. So by the fall, I think that's what we'll see at facecoalition.com.
And we're there to help you.
All of these businesses and the wonderful organizations that are doing this groundwork that are doing. We need to pull together, lock arms, and move the ball forward.
And hopefully, by the time you listen to this, if you're out of BC, we'll have finalized a partnership with somebody.
Yes, definitely.
I'm not sure who, but That's today's episode, beautiful people. I'd like to thank you, all our listeners, our beautiful co-host, Tiffany Callender, that stepped up during the second season and really helped us expand on this show. Thank you to our guests, man. This was enlightening. This was invigorating. I loved every second of it. Look out for our next episode where we're going to be talking about the ownership, our second season and second episode on Black restaurateurs and the importance of hospitality in our community. So we will be with the owners of the Loft Lounge, beautiful loft lounge on Denham Street, Vancouver, right by the water, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the podcast, TOC, the Other Canada podcast, on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. If you're looking for subtitles, we got you. You could read in French the subtitles to every single episode. Once again, check us on the website, www.facecoalition.com. Get mapped out. Stop being voiceless. Be the voice of your people. Be visible. They have been trying to invisibilize you. We are solving for X, like Tiffany Callender would say. If you'd like to be featured on the show or be a partner, send us a request at toc@facecoalition.com. This is it. I'm your host, Thierry Lindor. Tiffany, you had a good time?
Fantastic time.
Amazing. Make
Always.
sure to follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Until next time, stay blessed, black, and highly favored. And if you are not black, stay on the right side of humanity, not just on the right side of history, by joining forces with us. Hey!